What's going on, everybody? It's Andy here and welcome to my Game Week 23 preview, a weekly FPL video where I take you through my thoughts of the coming week, transfers, captain choices, things like that. I've done it a little bit differently this week, so on screen rather than have my kind of points and rank and stuff like that, I've still got the rank there, but I've got other points that I want to make sure that I get to. I may start doing the review and the preview again each week because the Christmas period's out of the way now. The games coming kind of every other day has stopped. They're back to kind of a weekly cadence now. Which is a good thing, I think. We've had a lot of football, which has been great, but it's nice to get back to normal now. Once the FA Cup's out of the way, we're back to kind of weekly FPL deadlines, which is cool. So I'm got some points in there I want to talk about, even if they're not necessary to do with my team. It could be things to consider going forward. So we'll just jump straight into it. I'll show you my team for this week. I know this video is coming quite early in the week, but I'm pretty certain of what I'm going to do already. So we'll talk about it now, and then obviously we've got those other points to talk about as well. So this is my team lining up for this week. Just to quickly talk about the double game week, I finished on 59 points with the -4. Obviously, if you saw my live stream, you'll already know that. I didn't put a review out of Game Week 22, so 59 -4, I think it was okay. Obviously, I had Kane captain like everyone else, but I didn't go overboard with the double. I only had Arnautovic, who got an assist in the first game, which was great, but obviously missed the second one, which was a bit of a pain. And I had Son, who was the highest scoring midfielder in the Spurs team. So I'm really happy about that. I could have got more points. Obviously, I've gone Ali maybe in for Salah, but I wanted to keep Salah long term. I think it was potentially a mistake to get rid of him. I know there's Man City next, and obviously Coutinho is gone now, which isn't on the list of points to talk about, but we will talk about it later. So I'm happy with that score, basically. Ranked up to 51k now. I think I went up about 8,000 places, so slowly getting there. We're coming into Game Week 23 now, so there's like 16 game weeks left of the season. I'm hoping for a big push in the second half of the season. Still got all 4 chips left, so wildcard, free hit, bench boost, and triple captain. Obviously, a lot of people use triple captain Kane. It didn't work out. I said this on the stream, there's not too much to worry about there. Yes, it's annoying that obviously he didn't do anything, he missed most of the first match, but triple captain is very overhyped in the FPL community. I think chances of you losing more than about 20-ish points are very slim. Yes, if someone goes absolutely nuts and double game week scores like 45 points or something like that before a captain, then that's going to be crazy, but that's unlikely to happen. That's more than 2 hat-tricks in a double game week. That's just not going to happen. So you're unlikely to lose more than about 20-ish points, I'd say. So don't be too concerned about that. So yeah, I got all 4 chips in play. I want to see a big end to the season now. This is what separates, for using a cliche, the men from the boys. You know, I've lots of planning to do for the blanks, lots of planning to do for the double game week. So keep an eye on your chips and what's going on is really important. So just to quickly go through my team before we come on to those points, I know people always want to see that. I've currently got the captain on Lingard. I'll be honest, that's a very easy move to make when I'm basically recording this on Sunday night. It's going to go out on Monday night. It's very easy to do that when it's still nearly a week to the deadline. When it comes down to it, I'll probably go for Kane. Yes, I know Lingard's been on good form, but I just feel like Kane's a bit safer. And maybe that's why I've not been so far at the ranks, because I'm going for too many of these safe choices. But I think Everton defensive line is penetrable, and I think Spurs can do a good job. I think they've been playing a little bit better recently. Obviously, Kane got those double hat-tricks recently, so scored another brace in the FA Cup. So, yeah, I'm probably going to change it to Kane captain. But right now it's on Lingard, and maybe I'll have the cojones to keep it on there by the end of the week, but I'm not sure. In terms of kind of Son, for example, Spurs midfielder, I know a lot of people are looking to get rid straight after the game. I think Everton's an okay fixture, and then Southampton away is another good one. Southampton don't look good this season. After that, they have a tricky run where they play like 3 of the top 6 in a row. So I'll probably be looking at offloading Son at that point. Maybe even before the Southampton game, because I've got a transfer plan in mind. But other than that, I'm keeping him for Everton. And then Arnautovic, I'll wait on injury news. It probably looks like he's going to be okay for the weekend, in which case I'll keep him. One of the reasons I got him in was because I knew he had a good run of fixtures, so I wanted to get him in. So I'll probably keep Arnautovic. But right now, I'm probably not making a transfer this week, which is why I've made this video so early in the week, because I know already what I'm going to do. My defence looks pretty set. I've got Duffy and me on the bench. We've got another 2, albeit away fixtures. They're pretty good. Those 2 have got me quite a few points over Christmas period. Just a shame that I left most of them on the bench. So they're doing okay. Calvert-Lewin is a big talking point because obviously Everton have just signed a new striker. I think it's Tosun. Excuse me for butchering the pronunciation. Let me know in the comments below how I'm supposed to pronounce that, and I'll get it right for the next video. So Calvert-Lewin is potentially an issue, but for me, he's my fifth sorry, not fifth midfielder, third striker option. So he's like the 8th attacker. So he's not someone I'm going to be playing week in, week out. And I think as the weeks get back to normal, so obviously there is Europe, so possible rotation there, possible cup matches like the FA Cup. But generally there's now going to be like a week between games. And so there's probably going to be a little less chance of rotation. So hopefully Calvert-Lewin won't have to come into play too much. And down the line, I might look at changing him. So right now, the transfer plan is to hold. If Arnautovic is injured, it will depend how long he's injured. I don't have a huge issue with playing Duffy or me this week if I need to. If Arnautovic is only out for one more, we'll probably keep him for his good run. Otherwise, I'd look at someone like Richarlison. I think I just got rid of him. Obviously, he had a tough game in the last against Man City. But he keeps playing. His stats are okay still. Yes, he keeps missing sitters, but he is getting into those kind of areas and getting those chances. So I wouldn't be too concerned about getting Richarlison back if it comes to it. But right now the plan is to hold, then to probably captain Kane. And then one of the talking points which we'll just come on to now because it kind of affects my transfer plans and yours is Aguero and Jesus. So if you've missed this, it's unlikely, I know, but Jesus is injured, probably going to be out for a month or two, which kind of puts Aguero in as playing every single game because unless Pep decides to play a false 9, then Aguero is in as the only striker because obviously they got rid of Iheanacho before the season started. So Jesus is out, Aguero's in. I'd really like him. They've got Liverpool away, which isn't a fantastic fixture, but I can still see Man City scoring in that game easily. It's not like they go into many games not scoring goals. So I think Aguero would be good for that. I'm really looking at the week afterwards when I think he's got back-to-back home fixtures as the lone striker in the Man City team. I'm very tempted. 11.5 million is a lot of money, and obviously the midfielders give quite a lot of value. But the way my midfield is set out, I'm kind of okay with it. And yes, I could get De Bruyne in, but I'd captain Aguero, I think, in a couple of those fixtures. Now, yes, I could also captain Sterling, that's an option, but I just think Aguero may be a little bit of a differential. So to fund that would be difficult. I'd need 2.7 million to upgrade Firmino to Aguero. So I'd have to downgrade someone, maybe Son to Choupo-Moting, something like that. And then, I don't know, Calvert-Lewin to Quaynor, something like that. I've always got Alonso I can downgrade if I want to, but Chelsea fixtures are so good, I'm going to keep it. So my basic plan with Aguero is, one, to let you know that Aguero looks like a good option right now. 11.5 million is a lot, but if you've already got someone like Morata, for example, there, or you've got a lot of cash in the bank, then I think it's worth making that move. For me, I'm going to hold a transfer this week and then I'll have 2 next week. So if I need to make 3 or 4 to kind of switch my team around, then I may do that for Aguero. So that's kind of my plan with him. But yeah, just to let you know, obviously Jesus is injured. Kind of talking about Liverpool, obviously Coutinho's gone, £142 million, which is crazy. How do I think that will affect Liverpool? I looked at kind of Salah and Firmino's scores when Coutinho hasn't played this year. And to be fair, they've been averaging about the same points per game as they have with him in the team. So I think Firmino was about 5.2 and for the season it's 5.3. And Salah was averaging 8.4 when Coutinho didn't play. Now, that's quite a simplistic way of looking at it. Obviously, you know, I haven't looked at exactly what fixtures that was, what were the circumstances with the defences they were playing, missing defenders, or their key defenders, etc. So that is a simplistic way of looking at it, but they have done all right without him. It's not like they haven't got cover. Obviously, Mane will now become more of an option and probably get more games, and they'll have to put someone else into midfield, maybe Milner or Lallana, someone like that. Maybe even Ox will get more games. So we'll have to kind of see who gets that position. But right now, I'm not too concerned about Liverpool. There's obviously a big difference between Coutinho missing games and just being injured and not able to play to completely leaving the club, because arguably he's their best player. You may say it's Salah, that's up for debate, but let's say he's their best player. There's obviously a different morale around the team now that he's gone. So we'll see how it affects them. I'm not too concerned. Klopp's style is attack, score goals. So I think they'll be okay. And obviously, the other thing to talk about with Liverpool is Van Dijk. He's come in, should shore up the Liverpool defence. I do think some of the problems with Liverpool is, one, they've got an awful goalkeeper, and 2, they don't really have anyone protecting the back 4. Obviously, Man United have the likes of Matic, Man City have Fernandinho, who kind of sits deep. Chelsea, we all know, have got Kante, etc. Liverpool don't really have that, so I think that's a problem. I don't think Van Dijk is going to come in and straight away shore up, but I think he's going to do well. But we really need to see Liverpool get a new goalkeeper. So I'm interested in Van Dijk, 5.4 million. He's got a lot of goal threat. And Liverpool haven't conceded that many goals this year. They've actually got one of the better defences. No one talks about that, but they have, because obviously they do concede. They still concede too many, but they're actually doing pretty well this year. So if they can sort out a goalkeeper, I'd be more interested in Van Dijk. And obviously, Van Dijk coming in, if he does shore things up, there's players like Robertson, who's done really well. We'll have to see whether he keeps his place ahead of Moreno. But he's done super well, so maybe he's one to consider now that Van Dijk's in. He's about 4.6, 4.7 million, so he's a lot cheaper. A lot of cheaper way to get into that defence. So that's Liverpool. I don't think Coutinho is going to be a huge miss, but obviously it is a bit of a downer. I'm happy with Salah and Firmino. We'll see how they go. Firmino may be upgrading to Aguero soon. And then let's talk about Lingard and Pogba. Lingard is the in thing right now. I got him in 2 weeks ago. Obviously he scored against Everton, a bit of a worldie. That seems to be what he does. There's not really too much to say about him. He's one of those players that you're going to look at and you're going to think, well, when's he going to stop scoring? And you could be right, maybe he will, but what's the risk at like 6.1, 6.2 million, whatever price he is now? Man United are in okay form. They've got Lukaku coming back soon. I just think he's playing number 10. He doesn't have too much competition for that space. Mourinho doesn't really want to play Pogba there. Mkhitaryan's out of favour. Mata could play there, but he doesn't play there. He plays on the right for Mourinho mostly. So I think Lingard's kind of got that number 10 spot nailed down. He offers something different to Mkhitaryan. He's maybe not as creative, but he gets those runs into the box. He'll run back and help defend. So I think he's in there for now. Nailed on. Stoke at home's a nice fixture. Then it's Burnley away and Spurs away, which is not necessarily the greatest fixtures. But to be fair, Lingard's been a bit of a big game player for Man United. He scored some quite important goals against some big teams. So playing against Spurs might not be the end of the world. And like I say, 6.2 million, what's the risk? So I think he's a good pick. And Pogba was kind of on there because in the last Premier League game against Everton, he played further up the pitch. We've been saying this for ages. He shouldn't be in that double pivot. But he has been. He should be playing further up the field, and he did in the last game. Herrera and Matic played, which let him go forward more, and he was really good. Got 12 points, 2 assists, got quite a few shots off as well. If he can stay in that position, I think he's good. People have looked at Son to Pogba. I don't think that's worth doing because Son could easily score just as well against Everton as Pogba does against Stoke, and then you've got that Burnley and Spurs fixture for Pogba. Plus, he might get put into the double pivot. So my thinking with Pogba is wait for the next 3 games, see where he plays and how he plays, and then maybe look at getting him in for that Huddersfield at home game. But I like the look of Pogba. I just hope we carry on playing kind of the 4-3-3. Or he gets put into the number 10 spot, but I don't think that's going to happen with Lingard around. And then just a couple of other points to make. Ben Davies, looks like Rose is out injured. We don't know how long for yet, but it looks like it could be a bit of a bad one. So Ben Davies comes into our thinking. The only thing to say about that is Aurier has and can play left back. We've already seen it this season. So Aurier could play left back and Trippier right back. So Ben Davies is nailed on every week starter, but it looks like he's going to start more games if Danny Rose is out. Stoke, question mark. People are starting to look at there. Mark Hughes has now been fired. Will they now get a decent manager in who can get them at the table? There's someone that usually finishes mid-table. They've got a pretty good squad. The squad's going in the Premier League, or at least first 11. It's not the worst. So is Choupo-Moting now back in our thinking? Peter Crouch up front, I think he's like 4.8, 4.9 million. Could be a cheap third striker to replace Calvert-Lewin maybe in a 3-5-2. So Stoke are worth looking at. They've got Man United away this week, which is tough. But after that, they've got a really nice run of fixtures. So I think it's like 6 or 7 really good fixtures. So I'm looking at them, maybe Shaqiri, Choupo-Moting, players like that. I don't know about a defender. My defence is pretty set right now. And obviously there's players like Stones are now cheaper than Otamendi, that he's back. Luke Shaw starts a few games, maybe he'll get some more. Christensen as well in the Chelsea defence. There's lots of defenders I've got my eye on. So Stoke defenders probably not top of my list. I want to see who comes in. There's talk of Martin O'Neill. What can he do? Obviously he's been managing the Republic of Ireland, so maybe he'll come back into club management. We'll have to see how he does. But have a look at Stoke, especially their attackers, I would say. And then lastly, we're obviously into the transfer window. Coutinho's gone. What I would say is I would try, where possible, to hold your transfers in January because you don't know what one move can do to a team. You know, if Coutinho goes, who's going to come in for Liverpool? Anyone? Maybe they'll take the place of someone that you've already got. Obviously, if you've got Coutinho now, you need to ship them. If someone else comes to Liverpool, etc., where do they leave from and what kind of opportunities does that give their players? So keep an eye on the January transfer window. I'm really holding a transfer this week because 1, I want Aguero, and 2, I want to see what happens. I will try and hold a transfer where I can in January, and it might not always be possible. Maybe I'll need to take a hit. I don't know. But obviously worth keeping an eye on for the next few weeks to see who comes and goes. There could be some big signings. We don't know yet. Coutinho leaving is huge. Will Liverpool spend that money? We don't know. Obviously, Everton have just bought Tosin. Hopefully, he provides a cheaper option up front. That's what I'd really like to see. Some 6.5, maybe to 8.5 million strikers. Because right now, you kind of got Kane, Aguero, Morata, Lukaku, quite expensive. And then Firmino and Vardy, and then no one, basically. So that's what I'm hoping for, that some cheaper strikers come in to kind of mix things up a bit and provide some competition for the midfield. Because right now, midfield looks key. So that's my preview. Hopefully it wasn't too fast. Hopefully you understood what I said. Let me know what you thought. Do you like me bringing up these points? I know I want to add more value really to the review and preview, because usually I go through my team for the review, I go back for it for the preview, let you know who I'm captaining and transferring. And that's probably quite boring. So let me know what you think of the points. How should I split up the review and preview? Let me know in the comments below. I always read your comments, even if I can't get back to them all. I always read every single one. Just time gets in the way of trying to get through them all. So let me know what you think. As for further videos this week, I might try and do a Q&A to come out on Wednesday or Thursday. So if you have got any questions I haven't answered, try not to make them just about your team in particular, because should I get rid of X for X is not very interesting to everyone else. So try and make them kind of a bit more broader. I'll see if I can do that, no promises. Otherwise, I'll be streaming either again on Wednesday, Thursday or Friday. I haven't decided yet. Maybe even 2 streams, who knows. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like. It'd be much appreciated. As always, subscribe if you're new around here. That'll let you know when my next videos are going live, when my live streams are happening. If you haven't seen them, then I do them maybe once, no, at least twice a week. Answer your questions live, no preset questions, etc., and go from there. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it here. I've enjoyed doing this one. It's been nice to talk about other points, not just my team, even if I link back sometimes. It's good to hopefully give you my thoughts on what's coming. I'll leave it there. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks all.